Manchester United broke Frank Stapleton's reputation at Arsenal when he pushed for a £900,000 transfer. Arsenal fans were furious, seeing him as a traitor who turned his back on the club. To them, he wasn't just leaving, he was betraying everything he had built at Highbury. The move shattered his image, and instead of being remembered as a hero, he became the player who walked away for money and glory at Old Trafford. His career had its fair share of controversy and challenges, starting with his infamous move from Arsenal to Manchester United in 1981. At Arsenal, he was a fan favourite, a top striker, and a key part of the team. But when he pushed for a £900,000 transfer to United, things took a turn. The move didn't just upset Arsenal supporters, it outraged them. Many saw it as a betrayal, feeling that he had turned his back on the club that made him. To make matters worse, the transfer wasn't a smooth one. Since Arsenal and United couldn't agree on a fee, a tribunal had to step in, making the whole saga even more heated. The fallout was massive, and just like that, Stapleton's reputation at Highbury was broken. Instead of being remembered as a hero, he became the player who walked away. But that was just one of the many challenges he faced in his career. After leaving English football, Stapleton tried something new. He moved to Ajax, one of Europe's biggest clubs, where he played under the legendary Johan Cruyff. On paper, it seemed like an exciting opportunity, but in reality, it was a tough chapter for him. His time in the Netherlands was far from smooth, as he struggled with fitness issues and found it difficult to adapt to Cruyff's demanding tactical system. Ajax had a unique style of play built around quick movement and technical precision, and Stapleton never quite fit into that puzzle. As a result, his form dipped, and the move that was supposed to be a fresh start ended up feeling more like a setback. His challenges didn't end there. When he stepped into management, hoping to carve out a successful coaching career, he faced yet another tough period. This time at Bradford City. Managing a football club is never easy, but for Stapleton, it turned out to be particularly difficult. His time at Bradford ended in disappointment when he was sacked, which, while common in football, was still a personal blow. There were disagreements with the new chairman over the work he had done, adding another layer of controversy to his career. But one thing that can't be ignored is that right from the start of his career, he set records like no one else. His football journey truly began when he joined Arsenal as an apprentice in 1972, though things could have gone very differently. Before signing with the Gunners, he had actually been turned down by Manchester United, the very club he would later play a key role for. But Arsenal saw his potential, and after working his way up through the youth system, he made his first team debut in March 1975 against Stoke City. It didn't take long for him to establish himself as a key player. By the time the 1976-77 season rolled around, Stapleton had formed a lethal striking partnership with Malcolm MacDonald. The duo tore defences apart, scoring a combined 46 goals that season. Stapleton wasn't just a goal scorer, he was a consistent performer. He finished as Arsenal's top scorer for 3 straight seasons and played a vital role in leading the club to 3 consecutive FA Cup finals. The highlight of his time at Highbury came in 1979, when he scored one of Arsenal's goals in their dramatic 3-2 FA Cup final victory over Manchester United. By the time he left the club, he had netted 108 goals in 300 appearances, a record that cemented his place in Arsenal's history books. Despite his success at Arsenal, Stapleton's time at the club ended on a sour note. In the summer of 1981, he made the controversial decision to leave for Manchester United. The move angered Arsenal fans, who saw it as a betrayal. To make things even more complicated, the 2 clubs couldn't agree on a transfer fee, and a tribunal had to step in and set the price at £900,000. At United, Stapleton became a key figure in Ron Atkinson's rebuild. The club was coming off a disappointing 1981 season, and Atkinson was determined to bring silverware back to Old Trafford. Stapleton played a major role in achieving that goal, helping United win the FA Cup in both 1983 and 1985. The first of those finals was particularly special for him. He scored against Brighton, becoming the first player in history to score in FA Cup finals for two different clubs. During his time at United, the team consistently finished in the top four of the First Division, and in the 1985-86 season, they looked set to win the league title after an incredible start, winning their first 10 games. However, their form collapsed, and they ended up finishing fourth. That disappointment led to the sacking of Atkinson in November 1986, with Alex Ferguson taking over. Stapleton remained a key player under Ferguson for a while, but soon found himself pushed out of the starting lineup after Brian McClare arrived at the club. Looking for a fresh challenge, Stapleton moved to Ajax in the summer of 1987. The move seemed promising. Ajax was one of the biggest clubs in Europe, and he had been recommended by his former teammate Arnold Muren. But things didn't go as planned. Stapleton struggled to fit into Johan Cruyff's tactical system, which required a level of technical play and movement that didn't quite suit his style. On top of that, fitness issues hampered his performances. He only made 6 appearances and scored just once, in a Cup Winners' Cup match against Dundalk. After his disappointing time in the Netherlands, he had a brief loan spell at Belgian club Anderlecht, but never played a game for them. He then spent 3 months on loan at Derby County before turning his focus to international football. As captain of the Republic of Ireland, he led his country into the 1988 European Championships, where they shocked England with a famous victory, held the Soviet Union to a 1-1 draw, and narrowly lost to the eventual winners, the Netherlands. Following the Euros, Stapleton continued his club career with a series of moves. He spent a season in France with Le Havre before returning to England, signing with Blackburn Rovers in 1989. He later played for Aldershot, Huddersfield Town, and Bradford City. His playing career was winding down, but his experience and leadership still made him a valuable asset to the teams he joined. After 3 seasons at Bradford, he took on a player-manager role but was sacked at the end of the 1993-94 season after narrowly missing out on the Division 2 playoffs. He had one final playing spell with Brighton and Hove Albion in the 1994-95 season, appearing in 2 games before finally hanging up his boots. Stapleton's transition into full-time management took him to the United States, where he became the first ever head coach of Major League Soccer side New England Revolution in 1996. It was an exciting new challenge, and he even led the team to their first ever victory, defeating the Metro Stars. However, the club's overall performance was inconsistent, finishing the season with 15 wins and 17 losses. In September of that year, Stapleton decided to step down from his position. After his time in the US, he took a step back from management but remained involved in football. In the 2003-04 season, he returned to England as a specialist coach for Bolton Wanderers, working under Sam Allardyce. His job was to help the strikers at the club sharpen their finishing skills, something he had mastered during his own playing days. Years later, in 2014, he took on another coaching role, this time as assistant manager of the Jordan national team under his former Manchester United teammate Ray Wilkins. Though not as high profile as his playing career, it was another chapter in his long and varied football journey. From his early success at Arsenal to his controversial move to Manchester United, he experienced both the love and wrath of football fans. His time at Ajax showed that even the best players can struggle in new environments, while his international career provided moments of glory with Ireland. His move into management had its ups and downs, but his influence on the game remained strong. Through all the challenges, one thing remained clear. Frank Stapleton was a player who left his mark wherever he went. Whether it was his goals, his leadership, or the controversies that followed him, He was never just another footballer. He was a record setter, a fighter, and a name that will always be remembered in the football world. And that wraps up today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an update.